2021. They face the Vancouver Whitecaps, a team, by the way, they defeated in the Canadian Championship a couple years ago. So here's the bracket now as it fills out. Earlier today, we also saw York United host Vancouver Whitecaps. The Vancouver Whitecaps coming out victorious in that one 4-1. So now Pacific will meet them. Yesterday, we had another doubleheader. Forge defeated Atletico Ottawa in penalties. CF Montreal defeated Toronto FC 2-1. 3 straight years, CF Montreal Forge meet in the Canadian Championship. One went to Pens. Last year, Montreal took care of business against Forge. I don't know, third time a charm for the team from Hamilton. Either way, let's welcome you back inside our studio. Andy Petrillo, Jordan Wilson, Garrett Wheeler with you. I was wondering, I asked at halftime if we could see a disappointment here, because there was no score. And as the good old saying goes, right, the longer you let the little guy hang around, the bigger the chance you give him of feeling like he can walk away with something here. What did you make of just the whole performance in general?
TSS Rovers should be absolutely proud of this performance tonight. I think that they stuck together. They frustrated Pacific FC. I think there's just a margin, just a little fraction. We talk about penalty, no penalty, but they're that close to maybe taking things into pens and to really, maybe just anything could happen when it got to that point. But the way they rolled up their sleeves, the way that they executed the game plan to a T, they can always be proud of that for moving forward.
We'll get into the penalty that was given in a few moments, because I think it's worth looking at a couple more times. But congratulations to TSS Rovers. This is what this tournament is all about and will be all about going forward, living out your dreams against professional competition on a national stage. They didn't look out of place. I think they just lacked a little bit, ran out of ideas to a certain degree in the attacking third. Pacific came out in the second half. I think bringing on Reed, Mane kind of changed the game for Pacific. Good substitutions by James Merriman, and a really talented team in Pacific get to go on, and guess who you get to play against again?
It's
Vancouver Whitecaps.
Yeah, and it's the attention to details. That's always what matters. So let's now go back to the stadium there. Josh Hurd, who gets that goal on the penalty. Congratulations on the win. You get to move on. I'll ask you this question, because it was a question I also asked in the first game that we had when it was no score heading into half. What was said in the room?
Yeah, we got to stick together and keep trusting what we're doing. Bring a little bit more energy as well. I think we came out a little bit flat. I don't know if we were tired, we weren't ready. But yeah, coming in with the energy in that second half, and we helped with the subs as well. They came in and gave us a pump of energy too.
Hey Josh, Jordan Wilson here. You and I, we've played against each other for 2 years, and we've discussed on the pitch, foul, no foul. I've hit you, you've hit me. I blew your kiss, you gave me a gesture that wasn't so kind. We've had that. I'm watching you tonight, you cut into the box. Like, that never happened. I'm watching you tonight, you cut into the box.
That was me.
And you get a little bit of, a little blow, or a little kiss, a little ooh, and you drop. Is that a clear-cut pen, or are you lucky to get that one?
I'm going to have to check it back again. I don't know what you're talking about, Jordan. I don't know. Do we have some history?
No
I'll
history,
have to check that
Josh.
back again, too. I'm not sure. but no, I just felt a little touch, and in those situations, you gotta go down. So, like I said, I'll have to go check it back. Maybe it was a little nudge.
Josh, you have some good memories. Pacific against the Vancouver Whitecaps. You were standout when you knocked off the Vancouver Whitecaps in this very competition. You get them in the semifinal. How much are you looking forward to it? And what's it going to take to replicate that magical night right there in Langford?
Yeah, we got to bring it. We remember what it was like. We got a taste of it a couple years ago, and that was a magical night. But this is a new year. This is a new team. And we take care of, we got a game Sunday first, and then we go on, and we'll think about that game. But it's going to be exciting. We're going to get this place rocking. When this place gets rocking, there's not a better place than CPL. So I'm excited for that.
It's going to be a great matchup, great rivalry in the Canadian Championship, that's for sure. But Josh, enjoy this moment for now. And then, yeah, we'll see you on the weekend. CPL action.
Congrats, Josh.
I appreciate it a lot. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Josh Hurd getting the goal there on the penalty. You asked him because we're gonna take a look at that. So let's see here. This again, this was getting as the game was going on and on and on. At the end of the day, listen, Pacific ended up being the better team. Reed gets the goal. What are we calling this? Let's take a look because this is what broke the dam, Wheels.
Calling it a dive. And based on Josh's answer, he knows it's a dive as well. He beats Escobar. Escobar made the wrong decision by going to try to challenge him from a difficult position. There's the slightest of touches on the outside of the foot. You heard Josh Hurd say it. He felt that slightest of touch, and whoop! Crash, burn, dive. It's a dive. There's no way that that's not a dive. That's the softest of penalties. You hate to see such an underdog go down that way, where it takes a dive from the professional club to finally break the levee and end up scoring. There's no doubt about it. That's a dive. Josh knows it. I know it. You know it. Everyone knows it.
And we talk about the margins in football, and it's tough because you look at TSS Rovers today, they deserve more, but you can't leave your leg or try to tackle from behind in the box. That is when you leave a player alone. Like the best Ronaldo, R9 said it. He's like, I get protected when I get into the 18. And that's what you do. A foul that maybe is not given outside of the box might be given in the box. You gotta leave it. But when I'm looking at it from that angle, the kick out from Josh is, it's painful because I think that yeah.
But that's part of that experience. That's part of that attention to detail as well. That I always say that a higher squad can do against a lower squad. I mean, that's part of it. That's part of the gamesmanship. That's part of what you do when you don't have VAR. That's part of the game.
He earned his chance. Like, the critical play was Hurd beating Escobar to begin with, and Escobar not conceding, putting himself in a dangerous position, kind of attacked or tried to recover defensively from an awkward angle. Escobar put himself in a position where the referee could go out and make that call. But if Josh doesn't feel that slightest of contact, he doesn't dive. He doesn't go down anywhere else in the middle of the park. It's a game on. Yeah. Like, just in that position at that time, I really, really feel for TSS Rovers that was the way that they finally conceded in this game.
Escobar overcommitted. And I played against Josh Hurd. I was trying to just joke with him a little banter, but he's exceptionally good at putting his body in between a player and the ball. Yeah. Like, he's scrappy, the way he moves his arm, the swim move that he does. He gets around guys, but he's strong. He's a strong boy. He knows if you're feeling someone breathing down your neck, and I do this as well. You drop on the ball, you kick out, you leave yourself. You could be running forward and you stop because if someone hits you, it's still a foul. I think for that it's class, but it's just it's tough to watch because you kind of root for this underdog team.
He is not the only one. Like, we're not making Josh Hurd out to be a bad guy here. This happens across the game of football.
For
sure.
He did the right thing for his team in that moment, and he got the call in that kind of way. Just looking at it back, we're just calling it like we see it.
And because it's a little controversial, I'm glad. I mean, yes, it ends up being the go-ahead goal, but it's the fact that Pacific does score a second one. You cannot take this away from Pacific. So this is what ends up sealing the deal here right now. Because you're right. You're just like, oh, is that how TSS Rovers are going to go out? But I mean, Jordan, you look at this goal. You're not denying it.
Well, I think it's a great goal, but I think this is what happens when you go 1-0 down, Wheels, and then you know that, hey, the only way you stay in this competition is you have to go and score. But before, when it was 0-0. Yeah.
Wait, are we going to talk offside here?
He's
Come
onside.
on now.
It's close, but he's onside.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's onside for me. But TSS Rovers know, hey, the only way we stay in this is we got to go out and score. And then the game gets stretched. You have to throw caution to the wind. You have to put players forward. And that's how they get the second goal. But great finish by Adonijah Reed. I said for this young man, for Pacific to do well this season in the CPL, those two men right there need to get numbers for this squad.
The two substitutes, Brazeau to Reed. I could just picture like the VAR lines coming out because there was a little bit of lean.
And
when
pinky.
the ball did come off his foot, was there a little bit more of a
Trim
lean?
up that, get that manicure.
The nail would have been okay. It's like the shoulder, close.
You thought it was off?
I think it was close.
Okay.
I mean, without the lines we've drawn, it's not definitive either way. I'm cool with tie goes to the runner in a situation like that. But again, slight knock on the penalty, just onside, just offside. That's what cost. Those were the margins tonight for a League One BC team. Will Cromack, this entire club has much to be proud of. But then at the end of the day, we get Pacific in the Whitecaps again, an outcome that I think that we're all looking forward to. So another good night of football, plenty to be proud of and plenty to build off of.
When we come back, we're going to take a look at some of those TSS Rover chances, because this was a team that was really holding their own. This was a team that also had chances. This was a team we thought was actually going to go up in this game as well, just like they did against Valor, taking the 2-0 lead into the half. Are we showing that now? We're going to break? Okay, let's take a look at the chances now for TSS Rovers. Stay with us. We're not going anywhere right now. So they were actually, again, this is what's impressive, is that this isn't a team that looked out of place, Wheels, as you were saying.
This was like 30 seconds after the goal. Edwardson cuts in, hits it really well, just can't find the target. If he equalizes there, like after you concede, you always want that quick reply. And here at the end of the game, Richardson just can't wrap his foot around that. No penalty here. I think going forward for Pacific, Kieran Baskett was a little bit all over the shop tonight. Like, they're going to be looking for a reliable solution as their goalkeeper, because I think that Pacific really has all of the other ingredients to go on and challenge on multiple fronts this season. The goalkeeping tonight will make you a little bit worried if you're a Pacific supporter.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of an Achilles heel. You're looking at a team that I think their center-back pairing, we talked about it, I think that's set. You can dabble in the midfield because I think you have 4 solid players and mix and mingles. Easton Angaro is on our hot seat for obvious reasons. He hasn't scored. We still have an Adonizer Reed coming up. But the goalkeeper with Gazdoff and Baskett, I think that they need to show more. I'm also used to just a Pacific side who had a very confident, comfortable keeper in Callum Irving. And still best feet in the league. He was able to play out the back. So these two need to really show more for this club to progress.
I mean, at the back, solid. They have options. Midfield, they have options in attack. Even if Ongaro isn't firing, like you brought on Reed, you brought on Mane, the team just started to play a lot more quick.
Yeah.
Like if Easton Ongaro is going to be effective working in this team, they need to bring him into the play much more. He was oftentimes isolated, Andy, up top. Mm-hmm. He needs the service, but I think they're still adapting to playing his kind of style. Like Guero Diaz last season is completely different than Easton Ongaro. So pardon the pun, but they're still going through some growing pains.
When I look at Daniel,
he's big. He's very big, very tall.
From Ottawa, when they played Ottawa last weekend, we're just going to speed past that. It's late, guys. I like it, Will. But you have Daniels as well. If Easton Angaro's not doing the best, you need a big frame. If Daniels plays how he did on the weekend, pressing, just running down the flank, getting into the box, creating for other teammates, maybe it's okay having Easton on the bench.
All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to hear from our favorite coach, Will Cromack. I mean, sorry, we love y'all, but this guy is so highly entertaining. We're going to hear from Will Cromack. We're going to hear from Polisi, TSS Rovers, and just this incredible run that they've been on. But the night does belong to Pacific. They win 2-0. They move on to the semifinal of the 2023 Canadian Championship. Stay with us for more reaction from this one.
Thank you, Canada, for making dreams come true. We're with you all the way.
Hamilton, Ontario plays host to this weekend's Tony Bent Match of the Week as Valor FC looks to make some noise in Steel City.
Now he gets it right back and he scores!
The second half of One Soccer's CPL doubleheader sees Cavalry FC host HFX Wanderers in a match that could prove key in the race for early season playoff positioning. The Canadian Premier League continues on one channel, One Soccer.
At Toyota, our lineup of electrified vehicles is always growing. We're evolving the ways we move so that every Canadian has a choice towards a more sustainable future. One that includes the all-new, all-electric Toyota VZ4X. Because every electrified vehicle we build at Toyota brings us all closer to a better future.
Life's better with extra space. Space for family. Space for memories. Space for you. Try 4 weeks free. Sentinel Storage, proud partner of Canada Soccer and the Canadian Championship.
Here's a look at your full-time stats. There was no score after the first 45, but Pacific, they go on to win 2-0. They open things up with a penalty against TSS Rovers. They score on that. How does Cromack and Polisi feel about that?
Big games come down to small moments, and that's what happened. That sums up the game, really. I mean, they had obviously most of the ball, but I mean, we were defending well, and yeah, it's a moment. It's a PK. Is it not a PK? I'm not sure, but I mean, that goal happens, and then it's tough to come back from that, obviously. But obviously, I think we can hold our heads high. Yeah.
Well, what'd you make of the fight from you guys today?
Yeah, you know, listen, you know, we came into this competition. We hope to not embarrass our club. We hope to not, you know, to make something about it. You know, to get about it. We got to this round. We got to halftime comfortably. You know, we knew what we had to do. We were suffering, but we handled the adversity pretty well, and very few chances against. So I was extremely proud of the guys, and you know what our club accomplished in the stands, in this competition, and then of course what the boys put forward. So, you know, generally speaking, like Mateo said, it comes down to these little tiny moments, and that's what our layer needs to learn so we get to the next layer.
I guess just maybe about the cup itself. Obviously, the cup is huge all over the world, but maybe we haven't had the taste of that here. How just nice was it to get a taste of it? You see the away fans, you see the home fans, you see all the youth kids in the crowd supporting. What does it just mean to be a part of this whole experience?
Yeah, it's unreal. Obviously, it's awesome that Canada has this cup and they keep expanding it into all the divisions really across Canada. It gives everyone a chance, and it shows, I guess, teams can fight, and it's a cup game, it's one game, anything's possible, obviously. I mean, who knows, we maybe hold on for a little bit longer. It goes to PKs, and then that's the coin toss, really. So, yeah.
Listen, man, it's a challenge. It's a challenge for everybody. Every community should be aspiring to, you know, have a few hundred fans, travel, pay hotel bills, get on ferries, get to their a derby match, whatever that layer looks like. We need everybody to start committing to the idea that they're going to support their club, whatever level that is. It's not a form of entertainment only. It's a form of community. It's a form of being a part of it. And you know, again, like we're just a humble little club, but that's what we want from people. We want people out there, you know, taking care of their own. And so I think you saw today, the Lakeside boys were unbelievable. Our crew is unbelievable. That's what we want in football in this country, and this is what this cup opportunity gives us, and we hope we can grow it.
Yeah, Coach, maybe to build on that, you can hear the fans are still going.
Yep.
How important have they been on this journey?
Well, they're everything. You know, we are not going to be here as players and as coaches, but we will have supporters. And until people recognize in this country that they are the heartbeat, we're always going to have an entertainment factor rather than a club. And I'm going to tell you this right now, this is about being a club. And you start to see it coming across Canada in this CPL, League One environments, people caring about their own. And you have to go on the TV and you can watch what it means when Napoli wins the championship after 33 years and firecrackers all over the place. We hope to get there, little tiny bits, and this is an opportunity to show off and say, hey, these guys are important. We care about the badge and we care about the club.
Right, and then maybe to build on that question, if you want to grow the sport in this country, how important is to not only open up this competition to more teams, but also to ensure that teams like your club don't actually have to pay to host teams?
Yeah. Hey, listen, opening it up, I said it in the last conference, opening it up is important to be stable, to move everybody sustainably forward, because money, I'm afraid, is a part of this world. It's very important. Clubs like ours, we want to take a chance and show what's possible. I think Canada Soccer, Canada Premier League, the MLS Tub, the League One will get together and sort of make it more possible from a financial standpoint. But we need to go start somewhere, right? And so, okay, first we're first through the door, gets the bloodiest, but that's fine. We loved it, and we had a great time, and our players showed up, and they showed that they're capable, and that's the best part.
Do you feel that you said you opened the door?
Will, I already think you're great. And then you went and referenced Napoli, Forza Napoli. As we know, I'm a Neapolitan
you
fan.
got super Italian, super fan.
When he just referenced, oh, Dio mio, when he started saying Napoli, I said, that's right, 33 years my family was partying in Naples. I got all the images, I got the phone calls, they were having a grand old time. I already liked you, Will, and then you went and referenced them. But as we do say goodbye to TSS Rovers, I mean, this is a team, I guess, moving forward as well. You got to imagine they're giving a lot of the other League One teams that kind of motivation and hope for next year.
As they should. Look, listening to him speak, Will gets it. He gets what it means for this country, for his team. You can even see they were down, TSS Rovers were down 2-0 today, still trying to knock balls, still trying to play football, still trying to go forward. And that for me epitomizes what it is to have a coach that believes in his players. Because they embodied that tonight, and that's why I'm a bit gutted for this squad, because you'd want them to go further just because of that story. But it's just beautiful to see that there are managers like this, clubs like this, in this beautiful country, Wheels.
He said a very important word, community. That's the football that I know in this country. Just the sense of community that it brings people together. We saw TSS Rovers host a game at Swangard, I believe it was last year. Great turnout in Guelph. There are communities across this country outside the big cities that are capable of having Canadian Premier League or League One teams. They need the backing and the support of supporters within those communities, as well as the corporate community as well, to make it happen. That's how we're building this pyramid. That's how money comes into the game to allow teams to travel and host games and take on expenses. We have a limited cap about the money in this game, in this country, and it's creating all kinds of issues. But if we come together and if people are willing to give up some for the betterment of all, the entire country will be in a better place in terms of what this tournament looks like and the potential for boys and girls across this country to live out their dreams.
Yeah, we, of course, they do what they do. They play, we broadcast, love of the game, and in a couple weeks' time, we're going to be back with the semifinals. Rematch, Pacific, Vancouver Whitecaps, another rematch, Montreal Forge. What are you high-fiving about? I just missed out on something great there, because I'm talking about something great. The quarterfinals gave us a ton of drama. Now we move on to the semis, and then there were four. That'll be in a couple weeks' time here as the 2023 edition of the Canadian Championship continues right here on One Soccer. On behalf of Jordan Wilson, Garrett Wheeler, all of the play-by-play crew, and everyone here at One Soccer, I'm Manny Petrillo. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.